that day. Bring that day.
If you ever need bad takes, let me know.
All right, peace. That was great, man.
That's a wrap.
Ooh, y'all are a treasure.
Of course. That's what I tell myself every morning.
Man, that was a blast, dude. That's an absolute blast. That's going to be a killer. Even if 7 people watch it, man, it's going to be absolute killer. What's going on, everybody? This is DL Will, and this right here is the new podcast, your favorite new podcast. I mean, while you're here. What I love about that, this idea, this podcast, it's simple. I get really dope people that come and visit me.
And us.
Starting already with the hot takes. Oh man, no, two of my dopest people, man. Two of my family. My best friend Mike, or Prison Mike. You can introduce yourself.
Yes, sir.
And then my brother from another mother, Dave, who's Mike's bro, on his right.
From the same mother.
Yeah. From the same. Oh yeah. Let's not confuse that right there. That would. Woo. I'm going to call for your mom.
There's something we didn't tell you, Dave.
Mama DeSalvo. So, like, they're really family for me. So, when I say that, that's not awkward. When I say we call from his mom would call me.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, dude.
Yeah. Like, literally earlier today. But.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's my family, dude.
What a flex.
Mike, how did we meet, though?
So, it's a bit of a rough story, but so we're in grad school. D.O. Will and I are in grad school together, and, grad school's stressful, so you take some time off to do things like play basketball, and we were running fives full court.
Can we get a hand clap in the chat for basketball?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna lie, Mike. I just really want to use the hand clap track.
I figured gotta weave them all in.
Yeah.
No. So we're getting to know each other, and we're playing 5-on-5, and someone on my team stole the ball. They threw it ahead because I was standing on the top of the key. I'm on a breakaway, no one around me, and so I slow up a little bit to make sure that I make the layup, because I don't always make layups, embarrassingly, and so I slow down and I release the ball, and as soon as I release the ball, I'm met by the unspeakable area towards my head as the ball gets slammed straight down. Like, this is more than a chase down block, because the ball does not even touch the backboard. It gets smacked straight down into the ground. I go flying, crashing into the wall, and then I turn around and see Darius catch the ball that he had swatted out of my hands, take it back down the court, and go for the shot while my team's 4-on-5.
No.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, that was rough. And the worst part is...
That's not even the worst part.
The worst part is that D.O. Will doesn't even remember this. Like, this is so mundane to him.
I have no idea what he's talking about
It's
right
a
now.
Tuesday.
So commonplace
real
for
talk.
him that it doesn't even register. It's not a big deal to him. While for me, this is a core memory.
Traumatized.
Yeah.
You talk to your therapist to this day about this moment.
Only I made the shot.
Still.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
real talk. If only I made the shot.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember you being a really dope guy that I wanted to get to know by the end of the summer. I can't even really pinpoint to when I first met you, but I remember having great conversations at, like, the Backer.
Yeah.
We were at Notre Dame.
Yeah, trying to find my redemption arc.
Yeah.
I have some redeeming qualities beyond layups.
But I just remember when we got to, because I taught 2 years in Mobile, Alabama, and Mike taught 2 years in Biloxi through an incredible program called the ACE program, Alliance for Catholic Education, through the University of Notre Dame. I remember him just pulling up. I remember just saying, dude, let's grab lunch. Pulled up, and I just had one of the most memorable conversations, and I knew that this guy was a lifer, man.
Yes,
and then
sir.
years later, he tells me how we met, and I was like, whew.
Yeah, it was not.
Yikes.
It was not pretty. Yeah, yikes, yikes. That's another button you need.
Right. All right. So this episode is special for me because Mike is and always was going to be my first. Wait, pause.
Yikes.
Hey, yo, that was crazy. My bad. Rewind.
That's right. Take two.
Mike was going to be the first episode about a year ago, around this time. He came to visit, and we recorded, when I first got the podcasting equipment, we recorded an episode. It was an absolute mess, just like this one's going to be. But I told Mike after that episode, I'm probably never going to release his footage, but you're going to be the first when it gets real. So Mike being here is really special. Let's give a hand clap for that, man. Now, Dave also is special. So Dave gets the first segment that we're going to talk about here. Let's go.
Okay.
What's your take, brother?
So my take is the definition of a sport that, there's no way to capture what a sport is. Like, there's definitions that are too specific, too generic, and I've always wanted to create a take that's truly horrendous. So I figured, what better way to capture it than try my hand at defining what a sport is? And so after thinking about it for seconds, even minutes, I came up with a 3-pronged approach for how to define a sport.
All right.
And the first prong,
Number one.
very important, it has to require athleticism. If it's not an athletic event, it's just an activity. Playing marbles, sitting on the couch, those aren't sports. I mean, otherwise I'd be getting a call to the Olympics to this day. I'd be flying over to Paris.
To be fair though, at our age, getting on and off a couch,
No, real talk.
that is
Yikes.
I got
works
my
out
20s
this
ahead of
core
me.
muscle here.
I do a sit-up every morning.
See, he's hating on competitive eating right now. That's what I'm hearing.
right. Yeah, I sit up from my bed and I get ready to go.
Your breakfast is not competitive eating.
Me versus the food stall on my plate.
You versus queso.
Oh man, that bro, Queso the dog. That's Mike's dog for those listening.
It's just him versus the queso dip. Feed me.
Number one take, athleticism. Go ahead. Yeah,
So the number 2 one, and this is where it starts to get into murky, controversial waters.
because I agree with the first one.
Exactly. It has to require athleticism, but that's too generic. There are so many
Really
athletic
fast.
events.
Does NASCAR meet the first one?
Yes. Oh, they've done sports science.
Okay.
on
Mike's
how
face right now.
He said car driving. Have you seen the people
Mike
that
was
drive?
like,
Yeah, athleticism.
Yes.
dude, have you seen the inside of a NASCAR?
You know how fast
Have I seen the inside of a Mario Kart wheel? Yes. That does not require
Yes,
athleticism.
NASCAR does not have blue shells for those of you that are curious.
Gosh, dude, them cats. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen Dave win Mario Kart 10 times in a row. It does take a lot of focus, but that is not athleticism.
Oh, dude,
You're slingshotting at 200 miles an
it's
hour.
crazy. You gotta just go to YouTube and watch the inside of a NASCAR.
Upload link here.
In the description.
Right.
Link in the description.
But yeah, I
Like
would
and
consider
subscribe.
them to be athletes. But
Okay.
But yeah, people who are playing okay, that's fine.
Prong number 2.
Prong number 2 is it has to have objective scoring. And so the way I define that is it's not refereeing. Like, refereeing is very different from objective scoring. That you can have calls that may impact the outcome of the game, but the points are the points. That there are clearly defined rules as this is how you score. That in football, if you break the plane, score. Kick through the uprights, score. Baseball, you step on home plate, score. Basketball, you dunk over a 7-footer from France, that's still 2 points. No matter how cool it looks, 2 points. You ran a 3 from half court or right on the 3-point line, 3 points. That's objective scoring. But something like a gymnastics or figure skating, like that's super subjective. In mixed martial arts, you have three people who watch the exact same thing. They judge it 3 different ways. I mean, there are fights on every week where it's a split decision, and it's like, how are you looking at the same thing and you have 2 different outcomes? How did you say, oh, well, this person won the event, but the person sitting right next to you, same view, says, wrong-o.
But I feel like the term objective there is aggressive because we know that referees can and have and often do impact a game.
Right.
Right. So even when you're saying, oh, well, objective, just the scoring, but if a referee can impact scoring, basketball,
Right.
call a foul, that impacts scoring immediately.
Right.
Because those 2 shots would not have happened in the first place if that subjective call was made.
Right.
Umpire, baseball, throws a ball or strike, that immediately impacts scoring.
Right.
Because every single time you get up to plate, it's a chance to hit.
Bases loaded, yeah.
Yeah, and they call it a ball and it's a walk, then they get a run. But if they don't, then the game's over because they struck out.
Right. So even if you get to the final of a score, you can't with 100% certainty say that objectively was the right score. If we're just being very philosophical about this, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, can you really know anything, right? It's that type of energy. You live out you have to live out trust in a way. You have to live out faith in a way in every aspect of your life. 100% of the time, this chair isn't going to allow me to sit technically.
Right.
But I trust that I'm not going to fall and this couch is going to break apart.
Despite how much barbecue we eat, it'll stay there.
For sure. That right there. That's objective.
Right. Yeah.
5,000 calories.
Right.
Oh, man.
And I think that yes, refereeing is allowed in a lot of sports. Like having refs, they're allowed to impact the outcome of the game because there's always going to be a human element of sports.
Right.
But in terms of this is a point versus this is not a point, that to me has to be objective. It can't say, oh, well, this flip was suddenly 2 points, but I also think it's a point and a half.
So for you, it's not the process, it's the end result. So it's
the
if
outcome
a hit is hit and it causes a run, that is objective.
Right. And it has to be like if
And
you're
not nothing that influences that.
Right. If you step on home plate 100 times out of 100, it is one run. There's no one off to the side saying, I didn't like that form, half a run, or that was amazing, 2 runs, because otherwise it's just feels totally made up that someone on the couch can say, well, I disagree with that. And because everyone disagrees with it, I must be correct.
Hey, we have a podcast here to maintain. Our opinions matter.
And I'm also
Armchair
hearing
quarterbacks.
a little bit of slander against the slam dunk contest. We can say that for a future episode.
It does not.
We'll save that for a future
Right.
episode.
Okay, objectively though. 2016 dunk contest, the greatest of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Aaron Gordon,
Versus
Zach LaVine.
Wow.
Objectively.
Coming from the guy who's the greatest Vince Carter fan I've ever met.
And that's
Wow.
I didn't say it was the greatest performance. It's the greatest contest.
I just single good shot. That's just like St. Louis in the background.
Like,
Oh no, I love St. Louis, man. Shout out. Stop gun violence, man, for real.
Real talk.
Mike, you have anything you want to say before we get to the third prong?
No, we'll jump into the third.
All right.
yeah. But yeah, I think if it doesn't have objective scoring, it's just a competition. That it's just a bunch of people trying to do their best, and the outcome is in a third party's hands. That they can say, "Oh, I did that flawlessly," but someone will arbitrarily decide, -5 because I felt like it. It feels like a writing prompt in a final exam where it's so subjective that it's not, oh, like you messed up this multiple choice. It's I just am having a bad day, and so -5.
He's taking shots at English teachers.
Oh my gosh.
Still haven't forgotten that World Cinema Final where I got -5 with no feedback.
Oh. Should we name drop?
Some past trauma.
Like I remember the name of that. I was one of 200 students. I sat in the B deck of that class. So.
You know where I'm at now. I'm making $75,000 a year.
I'm a
I got my own podcast. What are you doing, teacher?
You with your tenure and your government job. And then the third one I have, so yeah, if it doesn't have objective scoring, it's a competition. If it doesn't require athleticism, just a mere day-to-day activity. The last one I have, which is the hottest of the 3 prongs, you have to be able to play defense. That you have to, in some way, be able to try to inhibit your opponent from scoring or accomplishing whatever it is. So in a sport like football, where I can play cornerback, I can push the guy off his route, or I can try to tackle the quarterback. In baseball, I can catch the ball and try to tag the runner out. In basketball, I can kick him in the crotch, whatever I can do to try to play defense.
Whoa, what in the Draymond Green are we talking about right
but
now?
But there are things you can do to say, I will, or even, for example, like in football, when you had like a prime Randy Moss or Isaac Bruce, as we know and love, you can double team him and say, make somebody else beat me.
Okay, question though.
Yes. Isaac Bruce is an athlete.
Does trash talking count as playing defense?
No.
And see, that's the point I was going to make. Like, is psychological warfare playing defense?
No, because, for example, then, like, let's say I'm at work and I'm trying to talk smack to the person next to me because I work in a competitive atmosphere. I'm not magically playing a sport. I'm just a jerk who's just trying to be competitive.
Okay, but Draymond Green is also a jerk.
But he's an athlete.
Reggie
He plays
Miller
the
was
sport.
also a jerk.
No, Reggie Miller's a
Kevin Garnett was
Oh,
a jerk.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett had some bars, man. But
So track's not a sport.
yeah,
Dude, I would love some track. You could just sock the guy
If you could just
next
trip
to you.
him.
Just like high jump with defense. Like,
hand in the face,
right.
pole vault defense. You just catch the pole.
You go for the high jump, and they just tackle you out of midair. Out of the mat.
Cleanest tackle of all time.
Clean. Oh man,
You
that's
go for the hurdles, and they just jam them up real quick.
Yeah, just raise the hurdle.
oh dude, that would be wild.
Something
man.
you just jump on him as he's going to finish. Cannonball.
That's just called drowning. But
Dude,
Hey, they have lifeguards in the Olympics there.
man, that's an interesting take, man. I just feel like the Olympic Games doesn't count for you then. It's just
A
competition.
lot of it is. It's mostly competitions. None of them are really activities. They all require athleticism.
athletic competition.
Exactly. But they're contests.
What is,
They're competitions.
what is the sport where it's the ice and they like
Curling?
curling?
You can play defense in curling.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
you
can.
can block,
Where
you
you
can block
place.
Oh.
or you can like
So-
smack the stone way out. Like
Got you.
That's
Got
defense.
you. Got you. So track and field, not a sport. Curling.
But objective scoring. Now, are they athletes? I mean, they.
It is objective. You
they,
have the.
They're better
you
skaters
have
than all
the-
three of us
the
combined. I'll give them that.
Objective scoring. You have the circles.
Yeah.
You can score.
So it's very objective.
So
like-
track and field again, not a sport.
But I can't play defense. There is nothing I can do.
Curling.
But like I
just need you to understand the take that's happening right now.
Also, shout out to ESPN The Ocho with chess boxing.
Hey,
it sounds
yo.
like chess boxing is officially.
If you could dodge a
Sport.
rich.
it is. It
You can
requires
dodge a bishop. You can dodge a left hook. You're good to
Again,
go.
dodgeball, objectively a sport.
That's what it sounds like.
Track and field.
Right.
One of the most historic.
You may be able to run a marathon, but you are not. You are not playing a sport.
you can't play defense. It's truly just a contest that. But otherwise, like, is Pac-Man a sport? Because otherwise, like, yeah, you could.
Yeah, my hand cramps up when I
Right.
play that too many times.
It
in a row.
requires a lot of hand-eye coordination. It requires
Defense and Pac-Man.
Right.
You like hack the machine.
You just unplug it.
their hand, keep flicking them in the back of the head.
About to get a high score, you just yank the cord. World champion of what?
Oh, world champion. Oh, what? I should have a soundbite for that. The United States. Pause. all right. That was a take.
Yeah.
I disagree. Mike.
I also disagree, but
I have to agree with my own opinion. Upon further review, I was correct. Subjective scoring.
Okay, on to the real segments. I'm joking. Your segment was real. We love your segment.
Fraud check.
All right. That was, again, a take.
It was an idea.
I respect it, actually. Or do I? I don't know.
No, we don't.
Probably not. All right. Next on the segment. All right. This is called Guess the Quote. There should be some flash on the screen for those watching on YouTube. I don't know if I'm actually going to edit that in, but, let's have fun. Who said this? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Michael Scott.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Dude, that quote is so stupid, man. The Office is the Office is like the GOAT show, man. For sure.
For sure.
You disagree with that? You don't like The Office.
I don't like the humor. I love the plot.
I was about to say, man, you don't got to be agreeable now just because your take was kind of iffy.
Yo, guy. Ooh.
Gotta up my charisma.
I'm messing with
would you
you,
like
Jay. I love you, bro. Oh, man. All right, so from one GOAT, Michael Scott, to another one, Michael Jordan.
Ooh.
Yahoo Sports may have just revealed that you can, in fact, make missed shots with their latest article that was talking about sports padding pre-2000s, specific to the Jordan year when he won both Defensive Player of the Year and MVP, which is legendary.
Yeah, never been done before.
Or is it? So according to the article, close statistical studies show that he was very much so more effective at home, getting steals and blocks than he was away. And when someone literally looked at every single roll of those games, they were like,
Nah.
Yo, they counted steals that should not have been steals. They counted blocks that should not have been blocks. The NBA refused to actually comment on this. But that's an important thing. You know, for the Jordan goaters out there, I'm not one. I'm a LeBron guy.
Yes,
People
sir.
know that.
Yes,
I have
sir.
friends who to this day they'll just try to start an argument. I'm like, you don't want that conversation. Your boy is prepared. I'm an apologist for LeBron James and Jesus. All right.
Not in that order.
Not in that order. But what I'm saying is LeBron, the article says, a closer look at Michael Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year award raises questions about its validity. Has LeBron James been chasing a GOAT? Here's the question, fellas. Does stat padding tarnish the legacy of Michael Jordan and how we should remember him and other pre-2000s greats?
It's a good question. I think I am not a Michael Jordan GOAT apologist in your words, but I would say the challenge with it is that it's likely been done with a lot of great players, not just Michael Jordan. It's I don't have any evidence to back this up, but it's probably been done with LeBron too. You look at what's his face from the Grizzlies.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah,
3J.
who had a significant in his DPOY year had a significantly higher block rate at home than he did away. So
Interesting.
and that's as recent as last season. So
Well, it's interesting you say that because I feel so. The article also talks about this. It said that Adam Silver, when he came in, he saw that was such a big issue that he really tried to nail down. They have remote scorekeepers now that go back and edit the film and they compare notes and basically
update stats.
Yeah, man. So that's super interesting that you say that because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of assumed, oh, okay, things are a lot more accountable and audited.
Especially with gambling nowadays, they have to be right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Like if you look at his numbers, he is significantly better at home.
What if he just was better at home?
By like 2 or 3 blocks a game?
I mean, but think about this
don't know.
though. Like if I'm working from home, I put up pretty good numbers. But if I got to commute suddenly an hour, oh yeah, we're getting.
That's actually
I'm
that's
putting up
fair.
a triple single.
That's fair. I'm triple single. Remote work triple single. Dude, what if that was like a thing, man? You know, fantasy sports for remote workers.
Gosh, that'd be awesome.
Right? How many hours you work total?
3 Excel sheets filled out.
Right.
2 missed calls.
2, not 2. That's negative points, man. Come on,
Like 2 turnovers.
you're messing up my team, Dave.
Putting up Ben Simmons numbers at work.
Yo,
Yeah,
hey,
right.
yo.
Hey, but still getting paid a stack. I mean, shoot.
That's fair.
Oh man, were you about to say something, Mike?
I think while perhaps it is a knock against his total stats, I wonder in the context of the people that he was competing against, like was that the stat inflation also done for like
Yeah.
Oh,
the other people's competing against? So was he
Yeah.
in fact still better than them?
Yeah, I think they mentioned by name Mark Eaton
Yeah.
as well as someone who his defensive player of the years were kind of
he had so many
questionable.
blocks, yeah.
questionable. Yeah. Dave, what about you, man? What's your take, bro?
I kind of agree that it just creates such a slippery slope of like if you start going after Jordan, then did Stockton really have that many assists? Did he have that many steals? Which shout out to him for having
Dude,
the most.
that
in
is a
2
huge
categories.
question.
And then like not only did Wilt Chamberlain put up 100 points, did
Yeah.
he really get 55 rebounds in a game? The teams barely get 55 rebounds in a game now, and so
Dude, there's a PhD somewhere for someone who's willing to sit through
what a nerd,
thousands
of hours
hours of film.
right?
There's a PhD.
How
There's
do you
an
apply
opportunity
for
there.
that job. Wait, what do you
How
say
do
in
you
the
get
interview?
paid- how do you get paid for that
Right.
job? Is
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that, man. I think it does. Again, LeBron apologist. I'm biased.
Yeah,
But I do think we go back to like your idea of a sport, at least the part about the objectivity,
Right.
right? You want to be as objective as possible, even though you know subjectivity is there.
right.
And when you don't have the level of accountability, at least I suppose is in today's NBA,
Right.
it does tarnish, right? In the article, it even talked about the scorekeeper after like a game, where he would come up to Mike and Mike, you hooked a brother up tonight. You know what I mean? Like type energy.
We
Had a
take
couple more
care of
tick
you.
marks right there.
Yeah, dude. Like, what are we talking about right now? You know, and I know that Mike was a phenomenal defender.
Right.
He was absolutely a monster, right? And I don't want to take away from the reality of who Air Jordan is. But integrity is important to me as a person. I want to know if as a competitor, you know, I wanted to make sure Mike understood when I blocked his shot when we first met that he knew what was up.
Right.
That's just
Not
who
his
I
shot
am,
anymore.
man. I want you to get beaten by me.
Right.
And everyone I think cares about the stats.
Right.
You got to kind of care a little bit. But how can I put this, man? Even when I look at a stat sheet, I want to be able to say I did that without any question. You know?
Yeah. James Harden says that when he puts up 5 of 27 from the field.
Yikes.
I did that.
Are you talking about the women he dated? Or
Yikes.
Hey, his jersey's retired in the club.
Hey, yo. You know who's shooting 100% when it comes to kids nowadays, though?
I don't know if I want
I have no idea where we're going with this.
Nick Cannon, man. Come on now.
That's true.
Yikes.
Hey, he is single-handedly holding down black population increase. For sure. 100%. Stats don't lie when it comes to Nick Cannon. If you want a baby, yo.
He's ready.
He's ready. Dude, so, I don't know, man. Jayson Tatum, let's talk while we're here.
Hiss.
You said what?
Boo, hiss.
Oh, my gosh.
Gotta get started early.
Yo.
Talking some first class haters.
Oh,
so.
man. First class hater. What's the quote? Part 2. At the end of the day, we all want to win. So everyone has to sacrifice when you want to be a part of something special. Who said that?
Me and my commute to work last week.
Fair enough.
Just kidding, my commute's too short to talk that long.
It's like literally 600 feet. So.
Yeah.
Who said that?
That one I don't know.
There's a no prize for the person who gets it correct.
Ooh, that's my favorite.
Was it
kind.
Jayson
Come on
Tatum,
now.
I can tell you that.
I will say, is it sports related?
Oh, we doing 20 questions or what's the quote?
I have no idea.
We can do both. All right, you get 2 questions.
I only need one. Is it
Okay.
sports related? Because I have
Yes.
2 funny ones. Okay.
Yes, the
I-
person who said this does play sport
Does play a sport.
by your definition.
Yikes.
I'm gonna say.
That narrows it down a lot, actually.
Ooh.
It's a volleyball player.
I'm gonna say, and this is gonna come completely out of left field again. Randall Cunningham, quarterback, Minnesota Vikings,
Ooh.
or Philadelphia Eagles, depending on.
That is completely
Wrong.
off base. I mean, you couldn't be further away. It's okay though.
He does need more love. Love Randall Cunningham.
Fire.
Yeah,
That's the best take all night, man. I love that.
it's gonna only get worse.
Like,
I truly have no idea.
Oh come on, throw out a name.
all right, drum roll, please.
Wayne
Actually, I
Gretzky.
wish I had like
Wayne
a drum
Gretzky.
roll.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Really? Jonas
Dude,
Jerebko?
that would be wild. Back to back, Michael Squat, Michael
Squat.
Squat.
Michael Scarn.
Oh man, it was Jayson Tatum.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
Pick a different quote.
Okay. All right, let me get into the transition take here
All
before you start
Flaming
name
up.
bashing St. Louis's own. You know what I mean?
Do they-
St. Louis legend, an NBA fan favorite, is now an NBA champion. And that's, frankly speaking, more important than the finals MVP for Jayson Tatum himself. Bleacher Report reports in their exclusive finals MVP or whatever, a champion is a champion, arguing the same case. At the end of the day, Jayson Tatum is a champion. So it shouldn't matter that he didn't win finals MVP. Here's the question. But is it though?
Yeah.
Is that all that matters?
I mean,
Should we start with the Jayson Tatum story or?
we can start with the Jayson
Yeah.
Tatum story. So
Oh man.
I actually liked Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, that was a big fan.
That's how dumb I was for years. I thought he was.
I gotta fight for my boy.
I appreciate his athleticism, his like drive, both
He was
in terms of
competitive. Yeah,
for himself
played
and
well.
like and he's a
Yeah,
phenomenal
when he went toe
player.
to toe with LeBron, I mean that was kind of his coming out
It was
story.
enjoyable basketball.
Hey, took him to
He's
7
a-
games.
He was a phenomenal player. And then we go to All-Star Weekend.
We paid a lot of money for All-Star Weekend.
Paid a lot of money for All-Star Weekend. And
see it on Dave's face for those watching right now on the cameras.
Nothing but hatred.
so we go to All-Star Weekend, and we go to a fan event specifically to meet him and a couple other players, but he was the biggest name player on this list. And we printed out photos in color for him to be able to autograph.
Ink ain't cheap.
And we show up early. We get front row.
Yeah.
And this man makes eye contact with me 8, 9 times.
Yeah.
And
often.
Comes within a foot of me 8, 9 times and refuses to acknowledge that I was there, much less say anything to me, much less sign the autograph.
Or take a photo, or smile
Or take
at
a photo,
me.
or smile, or nothing.
Wow.
And he signed some other people's stuff. Like, they were mostly younger kids, which, like, fair enough. Like, you contribute to the youth. But although I was not a child, I am not an old man hunting this guy down.
He's a child of God, and it counts.
I just wanted an autograph. And I didn't feel, I wasn't asking him to sign a contract or like, and the photo itself wasn't egregious. It was him. What he had stated in previous interviews was his favorite play that he had done up to that point in his career, which was dunking on LeBron. It's a
we all know how that
phenomenal.
ended.
Yeah, not too many people can say that.
But like that was a phenomenal photo, and it would have been a very memorable moment. And instead, he refused to
Look
sign
our
it.
way.
Man.
So Dave and I both hope the worst for him in his NBA. Not in terms of injury. I want him to have
What
a
a
long.
Right.
I
We
don't
don't
want
want to see
him
anyone get hurt.
I don't want to see anyone get hurt. I don't want to see him get injured. I want him to fade into obscurity.
I'm going to say eat dirt or something else.
No, his exact quote, and this is one of my favorite Prison Mike quotes of all time, is, I hope that he makes it to the finals every year, takes it to Game 7, and every year he has the chance to hit a game winner, and every year he misses it. I want him to feel the pain of losing the title in his hands every single year.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
I can't say I hate anyone that badly, but
Facts. And for the record, if Jayson Tatum's listening, which I know he's not yet, but when he goes back and listens to this episode, this could all be relieved. I can't even call it the Prison Mike curse because clearly it didn't work this year. But this can be relieved by you autographing the photo. I still have it, actually.
I'm calling my shot now. Episode 102.
that'd be crazy.
Jayson Tatum's going to be on this couch. We're going to fly Mike back in.
Jayson Tatum won't look at him the entire time.
Still won't acknowledge that I'm here. Well, if you just sign the autograph, yep.
And we're going to start the episode with the autograph.
Do you know who I am? He's like, no.
I am.
Dude is like
Mike.
living his best life as a champion, and we got like 6 views on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Who's the scrub now?
Who's the scrub now? They give anyone a podcast.
You with your title and your money.
Now to go to the question here, I think.
Wait, really fast. Dave, do you feel the same way?
I can't say it's as deep as I hope he, misses the game winner every final.
For the record, Mike is one of the kindest, nicest, like most down to earth, personable people you will ever meet. So I need y'all to understand the depth of what's happening right now.
Right.
The exasperation.
This is wild.
It was
He just said, "I hope that you make it to the NBA Finals every year."
Buffalo Bills and just
You
finally
miss the game winning shot. That is hatred with so much kindness.
there's levels.
in
I
there
want it to
somewhere.
hurt. I want it to hurt.
Man.
Yeah. But again, can be alleviated if you just, sign the autograph.
pay attention to me. Yeah.
All right, Dave, what's up?
So I can't say I hate him that bad, but before I go into that, I do want to give a special shout out to Juan Toscano Anderson and Cole Anthony because they both took pictures with me,
Okay.
signed autographs with me.
At the same event.
Right. The same thing. They were right there. Zach LaVine, well, I'll give him an excuse. He plays for the Bulls, so can't all be winners. But the other two guys, I give them credit.
Yeah.
They looked my way. They acknowledged my presence as a fan, and I'm a lifelong Cole Anthony fan, wherever he is.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Facts.
But for Jayson Tatum, it's not that hard. I get it. Okay, if he's at a restaurant and I'm running up to him, shoving a camera in his face, yeah, I really don't have a right to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's a fan event, you're getting presumably paid to be there,
Yeah.
and you're there for the fans. why wouldn't you take a picture with the fans?
That's wild.
Even if it's I have to sit here and take a photo with everyone, you're paid to be there. It's part of being a celebrity. Is you have to.
And at this event, there were not thousands of people. We're talking max 60 people were there.
Wow.
Max.
What? Okay. What if you just having a bad day, man? He just got a text
Then
about
he
his
shouldn't
son.
have come to the fan event.
Right.
Call off, which is fine.
Pull
Mike,
Tim
you're
Misney.
human, man. We're all human.
Yeah, then don't show up. We all have bad days. Like, that's
Right.
allowed.
Exactly.
What would be worse, him not showing up to the event he was supposed to show up to, or showing up to the event and?
Oh, if you didn't show up, I'd be apathetic. I'd be like, okay. maybe-
Bummer. We didn't get to see him. Oh, well.
Well,
Like,
because he
whatever.
showed up and was
And mistreated. Yeah.
Exactly.
okay.
He spurned us. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
He had the audacity to
You know
look
what's
us not in
so?
the eye.
Here's
He
what's
deserves
crazy
this
about
moment.
this. I've been in the vicinity of Jayson Tatum twice.
And you got an autograph.
So
That'd be
one
nuts.
time,
Literally
the
just opens
first
closet door and
the
there's
first
just a ton
time-
of autographs.
was, and when I say vicinity, this is subjective.
The
This is
same
not-
arena as him.
My definition of vicinity has 3 prongs to it.
Objective scoring.
Objective. So he was at a Waffle House
Okay.
just outside of Ferguson. For those familiar with the St. Louis area, and I was at home, so I wasn't close.
I was in the
But
same geographical
I know he was
region.
there because a friend of mine told me he was there when he was supposed to be there with his friends who were there.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first vicinity.
Yeah.
Second one, I was actually in Shock City Studios, a phenomenal recording studio. We were recording some, I can't remember. I don't know if we were, I used to run a nonprofit here. I don't know if we were hosting kids or we were recording some things for our own content. I can't remember. But he was doing maybe a podcast or an interview in a booth right around the corner.
Oh, no way.
Here's the fun part. I had better interactions with Jayson Tatum in those 2 non-interactions.
You didn't even
Exactly.
see him. Yeah.
Didn't even see him.
Just,
Like that.
That's crazy
Yeah.
though, man.
But again, yeah,
Rough.
if he wasn't there, if he had to cancel, it'd be like, oh, bummer. Like that part was a free event.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
So it's like, okay, whatever.
I would have been
But-
disappointed.
Exactly. But I wouldn't be like, Tatum hater. Or I'm
Yeah.
saying Jayson Tatum
enough, fair
from
enough.
Jay. But
Ooh.
Fair enough.
So to get to the root of this question, I think when you're an elite person at whatever it is you're doing, in particular, like when you're playing in the NBA, you are an elite basketball player. You
Right.
are one of the 250 greatest players in the world.
Right.
I think they naturally have a desire to be among that elite group deemed the top.
right.
Right? Like every player wants to be named league MVP every year. Every player wants to be named finals MVP every year. And so for him to say, no, that doesn't really matter, I don't even think he believes that.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the greatest. I think he's not upset with the fact that his team still won and he's still walking away with a ring that helps to build his legacy. But I don't think he's impartial to it. I don't think he cares. Like he doesn't care. They're elite competitors. Of course
yeah.
of course he
Right.
wants it.
Yeah.
And he's saying that maybe he doesn't because like
Yeah.
he wants to come across as a team player or whatever. But he's an elite athlete. Of course he cares.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying maybe more privately,
Yeah. Yeah.
like when he's in the bed with his partner and
or just laying
at
awake
home,
laying awake at night. Like
thinking to
yeah.
himself, writing in the journal,
Like, man, if I would have had like
Finals MVP.
10 more points, or I wouldn't have that off
But if I walked
game,
up
or-
to
Right.
my boy Jaylen Brown and said, "Hey, dude, I should have won that."
Yeah, and that I think is the other part is like I'm assuming he's been playing with this guy for what 7 years now.
Yeah. They're boys.
They have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be. And so he is not going to publicly take away
Right.
from his best friend's
Right, for sure.
accomplishments.
A win's a win, yeah.
Right. And so that's exactly I think what he's saying is like I'm not going to detract from like he was the best player on the court. He deserves that title.
Okay.
But of course he wants it. No, like him saying it doesn't matter. Nah, that can't be how he feels. He's an elite athlete.
It's all publicity.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Dave, what about you, brother?
I mean, I think a large part of it is ego, that anyone who's the best in the world
Yeah.
in their activity, doctors, lawyers, professional
Yeah.
athletes, they want to be the best. That
Yeah.
nobody who is a professional athlete wants to settle for mediocrity. I mean,
Right.
anyone from Michael Jordan to Marcelo Huertas, shout out Lakers fans who had to go through that.
Wow.
They all have to have some resemblance of an ego in order to get there. That you have to think,
The mama
I'm the
mentality.
exactly. I'm the greatest person to ever play basketball, and I'm on this court because I deserve to be here.
Right.
I don't think Jayson Tatum is saying, yeah, I'm okay. Like I'm all right at this thing. He's going out there saying, I am the greatest Celtic to ever put on this uniform. I'm going to pull my team.
Yeah, but here's the thing with those takes, right? The reality is, stats, awards, when we talk about the legacy of a player, they matter.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Right? So when I'm thinking of the legacy of Steph Curry, who me personally is top 5 all time. Personally. But because of some of the final MVPs he didn't have. Right? I think that does impact how I view his legacy, even as a top 5 player. Top 10 player for most people. Right? If he gets those final MVPs, maybe he's in a whole stratosphere of a conversation. I think with Jayson Tatum, for as young as he is, getting to the finals and winning it before I believe LeBron and Jordan even got there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing I've always waited for, and I love Jayson Tatum. I gotta love Jayson Tatum. St. Louis' own.
Yeah, that makes one of us.
That's
Facts.
that's my boy. Like I want St. Louis to succeed. I want Jayson Tatum to succeed.
Right.
But I feel like I've been saying this to friends. I have been waiting for the dog. I've been waiting for what you just said. And I believe the evidence of what you just said is a finals MVP. And so for me, him, and look, man, I'm, again,
Or a league MVP, which he also
something.
hasn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't pulled off.
I feel like
You still got time.
I feel like the irony is, right, I'm never going to be at that level. I don't know what it means to have the pressure.
Right.
That is, I've done speeches in front of, thousands of people. I've had opportunities that are just incredible. I will never know the pressure of millions upon millions of people worldwide watching you, tens of thousands of fans on a court in a pressure situation like he was in. So I do not want to take away from the fact that I am a nobody in comparison to what he does as an athlete
Yeah.
and as a celebrity. But what I saw in the NBA Finals, I didn't feel like he showed up in the way he should have. And for me, that does tarnish your legacy and even the idea when someone on your level, how can I put this? We talk about Jayson Tatum in the top 5 players in the league.
Right.
When someone's on your level, you have got to win that MVP.
Exactly. You
Here's
gotta
my
take over.
Here's my take with that. I think Jayson Tatum right now is a high level beta. He's not an alpha yet.
Right.
I think KD is a high level beta, to give you a comparison. But he is not an alpha.
I mean, same goes with Kyrie. He's so used to being Robin, Alfred the Butler, he's never been Batman.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. If you're the alpha, you should be winning that MVP.
And I think also to go back to your point about, Curry's legacy, if he has 2 finals MVPs, to look at it the other way, who's Kawhi without those 2 finals MVPs? I mean, he has 2 of them, but if he's just, maybe a one-time MVP and a couple of rings, is he a top 75 player? I don't know.
His legacy is different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
And I also want to clarify here, it's not that, at least for me, watching that finals, it was not that he didn't put forth effort. It was not that he was taking games off or not trying. I genuinely believe, again, these are elite athletes. I think he was
100%.
trying his best.
Yeah.
But, his best was not good enough to assert that he had earned finals MVP.
Nah.
I mean, but facts.
the same-
I feel.
He didn't earn it.
Right.
He didn't earn
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Jayson Tatum, basically, you're a liar. That's all we're saying.
No. But please sign our autograph.
Yeah, please come back.
Caitlin Clark. You ready?
Absolutely.
Who said this? I wish I had one of those game show, transition sounds. I'm going to do that.
Episode 2.
Episode, right. She told me, continue to be a great player. And I told her, continue to be a great player as well and keep elevating the game. Who said that quote?
Buffy Summers. From
Who?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Who? Dude, I'm definitely getting that soundbite for episode 2. Who?
Nah.
Angel Reese?
Yeah, ding, 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 ding,
Hey,
ding.
there it is.
Dude, come on now. You know we can't talk about Caitlin Clark without talking about Angel Reese. It's the greatest rivalry in sports right now. For sure, by far.
For sure.
Above Prison Mike and Jayson Tatum?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've misspoken.
Second best.
I was saying by that it means it's not a competition at all.
Yeah.
Dude, the WNBA has blown up since this incredible rookie class has come through and has taken the court by storm. Admit it. It's the first time you can name at least 3 WNBA teams.
I watched it during the pandemic. It was one of like 3 things that I was on. And
Okay, real talk. I feel like okay, this might be a little bit of a hot take. I feel
Is it
like
a sport?
I feel like I appreciate what's wrong with you.
Yikes.
It is. Yo, it's in a sport.
Yikes.
I do. I feel like it's kind of creepy as a man, like to just be watching the WNBA. Like I can't just kind of talk about it because it feels kind of weird. I don't know if it's just like the way that I think about it sometimes. Like I genuinely do think those girls can ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Those they're incredible women. They would whoop me in basketball
Absolutely.
any day of the
99%
week.
population.
Absolutely.
But if I walked into my wife and was just like, "Yeah, I'm watching WNBA tonight," she might be like, "Okay."
Well, see, my wife would say that about me watching literally any sport. Like, really? That's the decision you're going to make tonight? Okay. Okay.
I feel that I put it on at the gym because it was like Caitlin Clark's second game.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of looks and I was like, okay, but this is
Yeah.
the best of the best.
But I feel like that's different now. I feel like because it's become more mainstream, and because I'm like, oh, who's watching the WNBA tonight? Who's watching Caitlin Clark?
Right.
Now my friend group's just like, oh yeah, I'm watching that because they have made it. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige, like they've made it socially acceptable for men like me to actually,
Oh, absolutely.
you know. So, but anyways, all jokes aside, fire basketball, fire competition. But the question remains with the world's most popular women's basketball player. She faces a lot of pressure. Is the article from this? Actually, Mike, I want to do your article because you said an article. What's the name of that title? Can you name it off of me?
Caitlin Clark.
So I found one on yahoo.com that said Caitlin Clark's not overhyped, but the WNBA is underestimated.
Ooh. Actually, I like that a lot better. Right. So my question was, transition question, will Caitlin Clark live up to the hype? But I kind of like the way that article went. I kind of skimmed it, went through it a little bit here.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark's not overhyped? Question mark? And then the second part of that about the WNBA.
It's not so much that, and I thought it was really interesting argument. I will admit, I'm not a Caitlin Clark hater, but I think she's overhyped. And the article made a really interesting point that she's not necessarily overhyped. She is a very talented women's basketball player, period.
Right.
Without the qualification. She's a very talented basketball player. But saying that she's the greatest women's basketball player on the planet right now or of all time, right, like that, undervalues the level of talent that currently exists in the WNBA or historically has existed in the WNBA. And so it's not intended as a slight to her, but she has not been in a professional league all that long. She's played half a season.
Yeah.
She, I think so far has played less than 50 practices with her professional team.
Right.
Calling her one of the greatest of all time, that's such a disservice.
Who's calling her a GOAT, though? Who's calling her the GOAT already?
A lot of people are saying she is the greatest, either in the sport right now or the greatest ever. And I think, and I think that's way overvaluing her abilities.
I respect that.
And I honestly, I felt the same way. There was a really interesting quote in 2009 by Michael Jordan, who named his top 5 players, favorite player at each, or he argued the best player at every position. And he said LeBron was not even the greatest player in his own position. He put Larry Bird above him. But in 2009, LeBron had done nothing. That's pre-Heat LeBron. He had no MVPs. He had no titles. I don't necessarily disagree with MJ in 2009. LeBron was not.
Disagree now.
I disagree now for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But for sure. But in 2009, LeBron hadn't done that much. And so I kind of feel the same way about Caitlin Clark. She might one day evolve into one of the greatest players. But with the body of work she's done right now, it's
Is
too
it
small
is
of
it
a
acceptable
sample
to say
size.
that she's the greatest women's college basketball player of all time?
Prospect.
Yes.
Prospect. Interesting. You changed my language there.
Yeah.
Why
I
player
think,
versus prospect?
well, I think it, in terms of the hype that,
Yeah.
because in the same way that like in 2003 when LeBron came, like
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing. Where
Oh no, but in college was she the
Right.
greatest college player of
Of
all
all
time?
time. But he immediately said maybe not player, prospect.
Prospect into the pros.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like the hype that she had coming out of college is similar to the hype that Zion Williamson had coming out of college.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get the prospect. I think Cheryl Miller probably is the greatest women's college basketball
That's
player of
what I
all
think
time.
it is.
But Don Stanley,
Yeah, Don Sealy. Yeah.
she said it best. She said you got to win a title to be in that conversation.
Right.
Yep.
And Caitlin Clark, as great as she was, as many ratings as she brought, I watched a lot of women's college basketball because of her.
Right. Tournament was great.
And many people did.
You know, and highlights.
Yeah, she set records.
Yeah,
Right.
For games she played in. Yeah.
she didn't win. Can we say that she's the greatest? Because championships, they matter. I don't think
Right.
they're the end all be all for the Michael Jordan apologists out there.
Otherwise, yeah, Bill Russell would be two times as good as Michael Jordan.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But that does. So you said prospect.
Right.
I can probably agree with that.
Yeah, I think in terms of hype, in terms of overall
Yeah.
excitement for one player.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think that's the thing. This is part of my take. I think it's okay to be hype, man.
Yeah.
it's good.
Dude, like I said, it is right now. I'm literally in social circles where I'm like, did y'all see that Caitlin Clark game last night? Did y'all see that Angel Reese game last night?
Right.
Like, that's the energy the WNBA is bringing right now. That has never been a thing.
No.
Even at the height of Lisa Leslie, who
Yeah.
dunked. That was like a huge deal. And I
Yeah.
remember watching those highlights on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, Candace Parker at Tennessee and
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like, they're selling tickets, man. Do your thing.
right.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you're saying, Mike. So this is what I'll take it to a different level. For the people that are saying that Caitlin Clark is being bullied, I want something to say to them. I want to say something to them. If you have ever been an athlete in a sport, you understand there is a rite of passage that happens between the lines. You've got to earn the respect. It doesn't matter who you are and where you're coming from. If I remember going into high school, playing basketball, running track, which is a sport,
Easy for you to say.
right? Even soccer. Dude, I played goalkeeper. I hadn't played soccer since YMCA soccer when I was a kid. I walked onto my sophomore soccer team, and I was a great goalkeeper purely because of my athleticism, honestly. But I didn't understand the game, and so there was an arrogance to me even back then. I was like, man, I think I'm better than the goalkeeper on the varsity team. I think I'm better. But I hadn't earned that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had to learn the hard way that I hadn't learned that.
Right.
Same thing with basketball. Same thing with track. I feel like what Caitlin Clark is going through right now is the rite of passage.
Oh,
And
for
not atypical in
Yeah.
any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
sure. Yeah. Just another rookie. Yeah.
And
part
she
of it.
truly she's a rookie.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's I don't think it's immoral. I don't think it's hazing.
Right.
Like
Right.
she's learning how aggressive professional basketball is.
Right.
And they are testing her to see, and especially when you consider women's basketball, there aren't 30 teams. You're not talking about 200 players. You're talking about a very small pool of players. You have WNBA player or like women's college players who get drafted and are out of the league a year later because they're just no longer one of the top 100 players in the world because there's not a lot of spots in the WNBA. They are testing to see, is she capable of sustaining even a 2 or 3 year career in the league, or is she just not capable of hanging? And so, yeah, they're testing her because they test every rookie.
Right.
Are you going to make it?
Is there anything you want to add there, Dave?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great thing, but part of it is in order to elevate the WNBA, you need these types of conversations. You need the drama, the trash talk, in order for it to be treated like one of the big four professional sports in the U.S. You need these types of stories to say, oh, well, is Caitlin Clark actually that good? In the same way that LeBron, Zion, a lot of those rookies got that kind of criticism. They need to be able to go both ways.
For the record, I'm still criticizing Zion.
Right.
What the heck, dude?
Disappointing.
Oh my
I
gosh.
called it. I called it as soon as he got drafted.
Really?
He did
Oh yeah.
call
As
it.
soon as
I really thought he was
New
up
Orleans
next.
food is too good.
But I was but
If
facts,
he went to Jazz first overall, yeah, he'd be
but facts,
top 5 player of all time by now.
kind of like Luka, and like I really want to love Luka, but like
Yeah.
they don't take care of themselves physically.
Right.
Yeah.
For professional athletes who are supposed to be some of the best in the
Yeah.
world, you show up overweight to camp? Like what?
Yeah, it comes down to
That is
work
quite
ethic.
you quite literally have one job. Like this is not something you do for fun on the side. Like if I show up overweight to YMCA basketball, like my bad, I'm gonna be a little slower this week. That is their job.
That's such a mental transition, though.
Right.
yeah.
I think on a professional level, you grow up, you play for the love of the game.
Yeah.
You know, when we're out playing at the YMCA, when we're in high school or middle school, we're playing travel ball or whatever we're playing, you're really doing it for the love. I wasn't lifting weights really in high school. You know what I mean? I love the game. But when you get to that level, there has to be a mental switch
Right.
of
This is my job.
right,
And I can still love my job,
right,
but this is not like a hobby.
right. This is why Ben Simmons looks good every summer.
Right. But I also think like it's interesting that we're obviously like there are definitely a lot of professional athletes younger than us, but Zion was 19 when he got drafted. None of us were making good decisions at 19. Would have been freshman, sophomore in college. These kids are teenagers, or even if they're old, they're 21, 22 years old. I was an RA. Those people that age, they don't make good decisions. It's as simple as that.
But some
people do. Right.
Yeah.
Some
LeBron
people can't
at
handle the
19
pressure.
made great decisions.
Right.
Honestly, like Wemby right now.
Yeah,
He's
taking care of himself.
He's taking care
Yeah.
of himself.
Right.
yeah.
And I think, like, from what I perceived, like, Wemby and Zion came in with very similar hype. Caitlin Clarkson, like, to wrap it back, like, she also came in with similar hype. She's taking care of herself. She's not...
Yeah. She did say she's had to start lifting weight. She didn't realize.
Right.
But she's not being criticized for, like, oh, you're out of breath
Right.
exactly.
on the court.
Right.
Or, like, you're getting injured because you're not stretching.
Yeah.
Right.
Which,
think
like, again, for me, whatever. Like, yeah,
And
Your life, your livelihood doesn't depend on it. It's
end of the day, we're not talking where she would be at in the span of the WNBA,
right.
but in terms of the rookie class, will she be the best out of that rookie class in the end of the day?
Oh, I think so for sure.
at the end of the season? Or,
Not at the end of the
or
season.
at
like,
the
career.
end of their careers? I think she's got potential,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's definitively hers
Yeah.
for the taking.
Because I
Yeah,
think
it's hers to
people don't
lose,
understand. Angel Reese is a
Even-
baller.
Yeah.
Who you about to say?
I was gonna say even Cameron Brink before she got hurt.
Baller.
Yeah. As soon as she got to the Sparks, yeah, it looked like this was just another year for her.
Baller. I think
Where-
she probably would have won Rookie of the Year.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas, like, if you compare this past rookie class in the NBA, like, I think Wemby is a clear, again, as
Yeah.
long as he stays healthy, and he takes care in particular of his ankles for someone that height,
Right.
like, I think he literally the sky is the limit.
Right.
And he can find himself in the upper echelon.
I think this WNBA class is 2003, 2004 NBA.
Oh, for sure.
I think it's the LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade legacy class.
Marco Milicic, yeah.
I'll see. Yo, I'm a Pistons fan.
You could have had
Hides
Carmelo.
my eyes, puts on the bag.
The pit. Can you imagine though? 2004 Pistons with Dwayne Wade.
Oh my gosh, dude. Or
even Carmelo at the
Honestly, I
three.
would want it Carmelo.
Yeah.
So listen, okay, we're gonna talk about this really fast.
Chauncey, Rip Hamilton, both Wallaces, and
The
Carmelo
biggest
did not.
knock on Carmelo Anthony was his defense.
I thought it was a no ring.
Detroit was known for their defense. Ben Wallace was known for getting them brothers in order. There was a culture where we're going to defend. Now imagine Carmelo going into that culture where people are going to take his crap, tell him you're going to get down and we're going to defend. And he learns how to defend from a young age and can still score. Look, hot take, I think we're talking about someone else,
Absolutely.
not LeBron.
Absolutely.
Not named LeBron. Or we're talking about LeBron and Carmelo in the same breath as one of the greatest rivalries of all time because they were in the same division.
And they
That
face
was-
off 4 times a year. Yeah.
Maybe this is another podcast. That was one of the worst draft picks of all time, if not the worst.
Right. And I think the even more whimsical way to look at it. Can you imagine
trading
Kobe
Kobe Bryant?
Can you imagine Darko though?
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, well, but Darko Milicic on the Nuggets would be objectively funnier because they wouldn't have had they would have had a much longer leash where the Pistons were like, you suck, you're out, we just won a title. Yeah. Nuggets would have been like, just another year for us. Now, sure, you can have the number 15. No one better is going to come along with that. Yeah. And he would have been able to play out his years, put up his 4 and 2. Yeah, put up his 4 and 2 a night.
You know what Darko's nickname was in those Pistons team? The human victory cigar. Because when he got in the game, we've already won. What a terrible nickname.
Yeah. And again, playing in the NBA, you are an elite athlete.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started.
Hey, we drafted Anthony Bennett. We feel the exact same game.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
Can you imagine us with Giannis? LeBron and Giannis would have been vicious.
Oh my gosh.
LeBronis, like that would have been crazy.
It's those great what ifs, man. Mm-hmm. Don't we live life through what ifs, man?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't question my marriage though.
We wouldn't have had Kevin Love, so
I love my wife. I don't live through all what ifs. Living room activity. Okay, anyways. Yikes. Oh, man.
Yeah, full pause.
Okay. We made it to the end, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Y'all are hilarious.
Try to be. I tell my jokes at least once in the mirror before I bring them up here. I've rehearsed this like 6 times.
We're going to bring y'all back for episode 102.
Yeah.
Jayson Tatum.
At Jayson Tatum.
We're going to be in his living room.
In his living room. Wow.
Yeah.
An away game for us.
Dude, you know what's so funny about that? If that doesn't happen, we're just going to skip episode 102 until it happens.
It's like the 13th floor.
Right.
It doesn't exist.
People, like 130 episodes from now, they're going to be like, what happened to 102, DL? I'm like, Then it just pops up after 220 episodes.
The lost tape.
The lost tape.
Yeah, we found it finally.
Hey, that would be fire. All right, last segment.
Nah.
I was like, we doing another one?
The final word. All right, in one word or one phrase, summarize this podcast episode.
Yeah, I would say, we've been talking about elite athletes, people, the best, Caitlin Clark, Michael Jordan, guy over in Boston. And I wanted to use my final words to quote another elite athlete, Troy Bolton from High School Musical. One of the greatest 2-activity athletes of all time. One sport. And I think that truly is the start of something new.
Oh,
now, if we could get Zac Efron or Vanessa Hudgens here, we could sing a duet and it'd be the perfect ending.
I'm sorry, no one wants to hear me sing. My wife doesn't want to hear me sing.
We don't either. It's okay.
Oh, yikes.
But that's how I feel of it, is that it's, a new idea. It's something new that's happening.
There you go.
And, I'm excited to see how this continues. And I'm only an 8 to 10 hour drive away if you need a guest. And,
He's going to ship you a microphone.
Yeah.
In the mail. You know that,
Right. Dude,
I'll just throw myself in the
man.
Amazon box and I'll be right over.
We're gonna when we have like future episodes, this is gonna be like one of those legacy episodes where people, the legend, the myth of Dave, and then I'm gonna be like, Patreon supporters, if you want Dave back on the podcast, subscribe,
GoFundMe right here.
subscribe and support now, and
Pay
we
for
will
my
fly
Frontier
him out
flight over.
for episode 102.
Greatest third wheel of all time.
Point one.
Jayson Tatum's living room.
All right. Oh man, Mike, prison Mike.
Deuce and Amar are about to be best friends.
Oh, dude, that would be fire. He's a little bit older though, man. He's what? Deuce is like,
Just a couple years old.
yeah,
Because Tatum had him when he was like 19, 20. So.
dude. He,
So he's like 8.
dude. I feel like the sons of not WNBA players.
Can't name him.
JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Sharon Miller, Reggie Miller's sister. I mean, he really was her son. Like she was owning him.
Yeah.
Apparently. I forgot my take. NBA players, sons, Deuce. I think could be fire. I feel like you just have such a beautiful leg up. This is like the argument with Bronny James right now.
Yeah, born on third base.
Dude, I don't mind that. Nepotism in America go hand in hand. Like come on now, look at our
yeah.
politics.
Yeah.
In our business.
Facts.
Corporate
corporate
world.
world. Acting, yeah.
Dude, I don't mind it.
Use what you got.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I particularly don't mind it. I feel like it's almost, for me, it's a cultural legacy, right? It's a racial legacy. It's really cool to see that there's now a generation where Bronny can benefit
Yeah.
from the legacy of his father as a black man.
Right.
Like, that's cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, I still stand on, like, again, the NBA is made up of the top 250 or so players in the world.
Right.
If he can't hang, he's going to weed himself out.
100%. Sure.
So if he can't ball out, then, like, it doesn't matter how famous your dad is, you're not going to have a spot on the team.
Right.
Deuce and Amari. Yeah.
Best buds.
Best
Backcourt
buds, man.
duo.
Amari's my son, man. He's who you saw in the intro video for those watching
Running around
on
with
YouTube. That's my boy, man. He's going to be a baller, too, man. He loves basketball, soccer, track and field.
throwing rocks.
Yeah. 2 sports and activity. That's good.
Oh,
Well,
man.
I think my closing phrase is comfy and controversial. I think this living room podcast take has a lot of potential to develop on controversy while maintaining a very cozy atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's almost as if I meant that.
Right. And like
It worked.
the worse the takes get, the more bad press we're gonna get. And, yeah, well, soon before you know it, I'll say something so awful, Stephen A. Smith will be like, "That's blasphemy."
I need a hashtag in the chat right now. Bring back Dave.
Let's do it. Run it back.
Maybe that's my final word right there. Oh, man. Oh, man. My final word. My final take. Oh, man. No, I don't like that one.
It's loading. It's
That's a loaded even statement. All. Okay, I got my final take, man. Track and field is a sport.
Can't play defense. Can't stiff arm your way to victory. Otherwise, people would have been tripping Usain Bolt from the get go.
Oh, man.
Not him. He's too fast.
Yep, there you go.
But they all start right together. You could just go and then kick his
You guys
ankle.
remember that YouTube video they made? It was a parody of him running a race, and he like, it's like I heard the gunshot, and it was from that moment I knew I was gonna win.
Winner.
Dude. Oh, man, dude. Would that be like a terrible horror film, though, man? Like, oh,
Getting
dude.
chased by Usain Bolt. That'd be
Oh,
terrible.
dude.
All you gotta do is make
I'd
it.
say it'd be a very short horror film.
Dude, there's a really NSFW take from Andrew Schwartz, I think.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, have you seen that one? He's like, oh, dude, yeah, okay, I'm not going to say too much more there, but it's hilarious also. Man, it's raw.
I mean, while you're here after dark.
Dude, it's raw.
After dark.
Right, after dark.
Adult Swim.
The uncut version. Oh, man, yikes. No living room activities there.
Gotta promote it somehow.
Hey, yo. Oh, man, let's keep it Christian, man. Something. Jeez. My final take, for real. My final word. Sports are elevating.
Mm-hmm.
I love this episode. I think sports are such a dope thing to just talk about and communicate about. And I love coming into this episode with something that people can just kind of take away. But I don't think I've ever been able to talk just casually as we did and just sort of with measured takes on the WNBA. Never. Like, usually it's just a joke. In fact, me and my boys, we still can joke about, who watches the WNBA. But, like, it doesn't hit the same anymore. Folks are actually watching WNBA. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just interesting. Sports in general are elevating.
Right.
Also say that because Jayson Tatum is a part of this new guard of NBA players. I know that y'all have your takes.
Yeah. Been there, done
St.
there.
Louis, you know what I'm saying? Shout out. I think Jayson Tatum still has a lot of time
Oh yeah.
to be in a different level of competition.
And just sign an autograph that I'm
But-
waiting for.
Right.
Episode 102 coming soon. But I think there's a new guard, and sports are elevating in that way. The LeBrons, the Currys, the Durants. What did Bryce James said the other day? You gonna play with your dad? Nah, homie is 42.
That's
Like,
crazy.
no, right? Like, sports are changing. And then with Michael Jordan, I think the idea of sports elevating. I think there is more accountability today.
Right.
And I think I can trust the stats of LeBron James, for example, a lot more than I can trust the stats of Michael Jordan based on objective research.
Yeah.
Doesn't take away from his skill, doesn't take away from his, for me personally, who he represents in terms of his legacy, but it does take away from the credibility of his legacy.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Sports are elevating. I love it.
Yeah.
This is, while you're here, with your host, DL Will, Mike, Dave, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being on the episode today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good to be here.
Heck yeah,
See you
man.
at 102.
Hashtag bring back Dave. Bring back Dave.
If you ever need bad
bring
takes, let me
back
know.
Dave. All right, peace.
Peace.
It's the start of something. It feels so great to be here. Oh, I'm looking in your eyes.
Okay, we're good. Okay, cut through. All right, we're good, y'all.